time for Newsletter Chat, where Jen and Jamie chat about newsletters. Newsletter Chat with Jamie and Jen. With Tina and Jamie.
Today, it's Tina and Jamie on Newsletter Chat. That's right, Tina is pitch hitting for Jen, and we are going to talk newsletters. How are you tonight, Tina?
Great.
Awesome.
Having a good night.
Yeah, it's been really great, except as usual, when Jen is not around, the tech is a little scary. But we met early. We were taking care of business. So Tina got it all up and running. Way to go, Tina. Yay.
Well, I have to say Jen saved the day by sending me the newsletter chat clip that she'd already made. So I didn't try to figure out how to make a new one, which is what I was trying to do, and it was not working.
We are huge StreamYard fans. Excuse me. Oh, my goodness. But the the functionality of playing videos and things like that is a little bit wackadoodle. So thanks, Jen, for putting that right there in the drive so we could access it. So if you're here in the chat, why not say hello and let us know that you've joined us. We're here to help you put out an effective newsletter. Tina, you want to speak real quickly as to why an author would want to have a newsletter?
Because you want those emails in your mailing list. So when your next book comes out, you can send them an email and say, buy my book.
So just real quick, like I had someone today say, well, you could just do a Facebook group and put everything in the Facebook group that you would put in the newsletter. And I bet you could tell me what response I gave to that. But what response would you give to that, Tina?
Not everybody's on Facebook.
Not everybody is on Facebook. And furthermore, it's very easy to just scroll on past, or maybe the post doesn't even show up in the person's feed. Yeah. If you send something to their email, they are more than likely going to see it. It's a little bit harder to ignore something in your email box. Would you agree?
In theory, yes.
Yes, in theory.
I am very good at ignoring things in my email.
I know. And then, that's the trick, is to try to get people to click and open your newsletter. So we talk about that here. We talk about all kinds of things. Tina and I are both, well, let's put it this way, newer at doing newsletters, because I know Tina and I both started a newsletter really early in our writing career. We didn't have anything really to sustain it. We didn't really know what we were doing. So it's not like it's the first time we ever tried to do a mailing list, but basically it is, right, Tina? Because before, we weren't actively seeking newsletter subscribers and things like that.
Right.
Right. So why don't you just talk about what's been going on with you with your newsletter, Jamie?
Well, I have been working really hard at all this stuff that you have to do once you hit publish. And so my ebook is up for pre-order, and I have my print book I have saved as a draft so I can hit publish on the day. And it's ready to go. Matter of fact, I accidentally hit publish on my print book the other day. Oh. I did not realize that you couldn't put your print book on pre-order, and I thought it was going to go on pre-order the way my ebook did.
Oh.
But it went live. That it was published. So I panicked, and then I took it down like 5 minutes later. But it doesn't work that way. It takes some time for Amazon to get the message and click whatever little buttons they got to click to actually take it down. So my print book was actually live for about 12 hours.
Wow.
And in that 12 hours, I hit 76,000 on Christian futuristic, and I hit 164 in the Christian fantasy list.
Wait, say it different, because you're just saying you hit, and you have to say, what are you talking about?
So the rankings on Amazon.
Rankings,
like whether you're the number 1 bestseller or you're the 10 million.
Oh, like the bestseller list on Amazon.
Yeah, so the top 100 bestseller list for Christian futuristic fiction, I hit number 76.
That's awesome.
And
in the top 100.
164 on Christian fantasy.
That's so
And
great.
then for just the fantasy genre in general, I think it was like some 16,000 something, and 122,000 overall for all of Amazon books.
That's great.
So I was like, what is going on? How in the world did this happen? And then I was Googling myself, and I found my book for sale in Australia on eBay for what is the equivalent of $18 American. So somebody bought them and was selling them for 26 Australian dollars each.
Oh, wow.
And so then I was really, because I didn't connect the two at first, that my book had been live for 12 hours. Because in my mind, I had taken it down right away, right?
So are they going to ship those? I'm so confused. Like, since they ordered them, will they print them and ship them to the person?
Well, no, they ordered print copies. So Amazon's sending them print copies.
That's what I was wondering. Like, are they?
And then they're selling them on eBay.
But they're going to fulfill the order even though the book isn't live anymore or whatever. That's
right, because there was a little disclaimer that said anybody that ordered books in that interim would get their books.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess you're huge in Australia.
I guess so. Somebody in Australia loves me. I don't know who it is.
Well, I think that's terrific. So what kind of success have you had with your newsletter? I know you did start a newsletter before. Why don't you just tell us your newsletter history so we know where we're at?
I had a newsletter, and I can go down here and tell you. October 3rd.
Wow, it's almost anniversary there.
Yeah, I can't see the year, but it was 2018.
Wow.
So 2 years ago, I sent out one newsletter. That's it.
Yeah.
And it had a 70% open rate after 2 years. So there we go. But oh no, that's my one I just sent.
That was a very good open rate.
Yeah, I had a 70% open rate my very first newsletter, and I think it might have been because of the title of the email. I said you're invited because I was telling them they were invited to be ARC readers.
I see.
So out of 72 people that I sent that email to, 43 of them opened it. I didn't have anything to click, so I didn't have a click rate. And then the next time I didn't send it out on the Saturday. I waited till Wednesday, and I only got a 31%.
I don't remember seeing your Wednesday one. Like, I saw the first one, but I don't know if I must have accidentally deleted your second one or something. I meant to make sure you're on my safe list. And this is something like I put in my introductory newsletter that if you can't see the picture, because I have a picture to be sort of like the cover for a little story I put into my newsletter. Anyway, if you can't see the picture, oh no, I'm probably in your spam folder. So add us to the safe list. Like, people won't see your images if you're in their spam folder.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I did that thing where you send it out to the people who didn't open it 24 hours later.
Oh yeah.
And then I had a little bit more opens. But then I did send the next one out on time on Saturday, and that one got a 53.8% open rate.
So maybe your people just like to read their email on Saturday.
Yeah, and Jen had said that hers does better on Saturday too. So, and I actually was getting clicks. I got 6 clicks on the one that I originally sent out, and then I resent it out to unopens. And I got 2 more clicks. So I got about 8 clicks off of that one. Are
those for your reader magnet? What are they clicking on?
Yeah. It's like, so the title of that one was, Did You Get Your Free Ebook? So, and I've got 20 people that signed up through either my website or these emails on Story Origin.
Tina, you've got some fan mail. Karen Gerard says she joined your newsletter and read your book and loved it. Took her less than 2 days to read it. Isn't that nice
thank you.
How encouraging. How nice for you to chime in and let us know that, Karen. Karen, are you a writer? We'd love to know if you are and if you have a newsletter. We are looking for the reason that we started this was to be accountable to one another, but also to be accountable for you out there in listening or viewing land. If you are a writer and need to get your own newsletter up and off the ground, we're hoping we can inspire and support you as you do that. So we want to know what your questions are. And if anybody else in the chat, feel free to say hello so we know you're there. So Bambina, what is next for your newsletter? Are you happy with your format? I know you're doing little segments every time. Are you switching that up?
I'm kind of liking it. I'm going to keep it as it is because I have a lot of information. So I have a section called From the Publisher. And so that's going to be book news and writing news. And I have From the Bible because it's a Christian fiction. And there's a lot of biblical stuff in my book that if you don't understand the deep meaning of what the tabernacle was and what the altar of sacrifice was and what the sacrifices mean, I'm going to be putting all that stuff in the newsletter. And I'm going to call that section From the Bible. And so my book is set in Alaska, and there's a lot of Alaska lovers out there, and I grew up in Alaska. So like this last time I put a picture of the mountains that the Chugach Mountains, which were outside the picture window of our living room. Like you would, on a clear day, you would walk into the living room and that was what you saw, was the Chugach Mountains. And how it inspired me in my writing. So I have a section called From Alaska. And then I have a section called From Christina Catane, who's me. And that's my personal, where I can talk about personal stuff. And then I got some newsletter swaps coming up and some promotions that I joined. So I'm going to have another section. I'm not sure what I'm going to call that yet, where I'm going to put those things. So.
Well, I just want to know, did you do any book funnel promotions? Okay. So on the book funnel, you're just giving away your book unless you have paid the higher fee to collect the email address, right? So like book funnel won't get you any
I did pay the higher fee.
Okay, yeah, because I'm thinking I might too, because I'll have audio to distribute as well. So I'm thinking I'm going to want to go ahead and do that higher fee myself.
You could either pay for it for a year or you could do the monthly plan. And I did the monthly plan because if I don't see that it's really benefiting me at all, then I can just cancel.
I would like to know, so is it integrate with your MailerLite list, or now do you have two lists that you have to
I use MailChimp. And I did integrate it with my MailChimp list.
Okay, so I'm assuming book funnel is going to integrate with MailerLite or integrate.
It was on the list. MailerLite was on the list.
All right, yeah, because I think I might pull the trigger on that upgrade soon to explore some of those swap options. So did you find a lot of swap opportunities? I know in the Christian genre, it's a little skinny.
Yes, and in the Christian fantasy genre, it's even skinnier. So
what are most books? Are they mostly romance? What are they?
The majority of Christian fiction are romance books.
Mm.
And
cozy mysteries, I would think, would be a big one.
They're even small compared.
Really?
I mean, it's almost entirely Christian romance.
Wow.
And the other genres are just so tiny compared.
Well, maybe people are really hungry for what you wrote then, Tina.
It could be. You know, I was watching a seminar by this company called K-Lytics, and it's K-L-Y-T-I-C-S, and they love numbers, and they crunch the numbers, and they tell you like which genres are in your hot spots. So they have these graphs, and the bottom is how many people are searching for that genre on Amazon, and it's Amazon Kindle specifically, and then up the side is how many titles are available in that genre. So there's this sweet spot where there's less titles available with more people looking for it, where you're in a hot area. So that's where you want to be, and perhaps Christian fantasy is one of those hot spots.
Right,
because I personally love it.
Supply, yeah. And
when I went looking on the top 100 for keywords for my Amazon ads, there were the same 5 or 6 authors over and over again in the top 100. There might have been a stray one every now and then, but it was the same authors over and over again.
Well, Rhonda says she loves the photo idea. I've already forgotten. What's the photo idea?
Probably the photo of Alaska.
Oh, mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have lots of them. So my father loved photography, and I have lots of my own photos that I don't have to pay royalty fees for that I can put on there. So
Rhonda also has a question about resending to the ones who didn't open it the first time. She says, is there a limit to how many times you can resend? How long do you have to wait? At what point do I have to acknowledge they're just not going to open it? Do you want to take a crack at that, and then I can tell you how I'm handling it?
I don't know if there are like rules about those. I mean, I don't know that like if MailChimp has rules or MailerLite has rules, like how often can you resend. MailChimp sent me a prompt or a text message, basically is what it was, and said, this many percentage of people have not opened your newsletter, and now is the optimal time to resend it.
I hear ya.
And
yeah, MailChimp is pretty good that way.
Yeah, and so they said if you want to resend it now, type yes in the and hit send in the text box. And that's what I did.
Well, the answer for MailerLite is that it is 5 times. It's called a loop, a response loop. So, Tina, I can try to share screen and show you exactly what I'm talking about if I can get my workflow showing up here, but I'll tell you when I'm ready if I manage to get it pulled up. Okay. But I can talk meanwhile. So you're supposed to, I'm distracted because I got these weird landing pages. I don't know how anybody would have got that link. Anyway, you're supposed to unsubscribe, or it's better if I just share screen. Sorry, everybody, for being so confusing. Here's the share screen, Chrome tab. Okay, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it says when a subscriber completes a form from my landing page, then they get this. Then I wait 3 days, they get this. See, you just put it right in there automatic. You choose this. So I picked 3 days. Why? I don't know. Someone said that was the amount of time. It's not like you just have to decide. I mean, you can ask around people's opinions. I put 3 days. So this says, did you love your free book? It asks you for a review, but mostly it's in case they didn't get the first time. Okay, so if they didn't open either one of those, I have them go over here to this get your free ebook again, just in case. Then if they still haven't opened anything at all that I've sent them, they get is this goodbye. Or if they've opened anything that I've sent them, I just bump them over to this right here is what I wanted to tell you about. Move to wait 3 days. I don't remember which 3 days. I think it's this one. And then they get this again. Do you see what I'm saying? But it will only repeat 5 times. And then they end up getting over here into this chain. But still, this will repeat another 5 times. Does it make sense? So they've got to go through my safety catches 5 times before MailerLite will unsubscribe them. But I even have them get moved to current subscribers because at this point, I don't want to lose any subscribers yet because I pay for however many I pay for. If I start to feel a little crammed up, then maybe I'll worry so much about removing them.
Yeah, I'm a little afraid to admit I got a "is this goodbye" message from you.
Yeah, I know. I had to go in and fix it because, well, I had to go in and fix it because it was messed up. Unless you got the goodbye because you didn't open anything. Then it was
well, I have 2 different emails I signed up to yours with because I was trying to help you check out that everything was working.
Oh,
and one of them is my spam. I have a spam email that I use for free things online because I don't want to ever check it and I don't want to see everybody's stuff that they're sending me because I signed up to their. I probably shouldn't be admitting this because now here I am trying to get people to look at my newsletter. And all these years, I've been sending everyone to the spam email.
But I mean, I think that's why we're doing newsletter chats because we don't want our stuff to end up in the spam folder. So we want to try to put content in our newsletter that's going to engage people, and keep them reading until you have something to sell to them that is going to put money in your pocket. So that's kind of the point of doing the newsletter.
So from the publisher section of my newsletter, the first one was, be an ARC reader. The book is available now to be an ARC reader. And then there was a cover reveal. And then I revealed the blurb. And this time I'm going to have an excerpt from the book.
That's really exciting. And if your newsletter for the next book, I was talking to Jennifer. Oh, wait, Karen, you guys scroll up a little, Tina, but Karen had answered that, yes, she is a writer. And she feels she's not even close to a newsletter, but she likes information, so she watches what she might need. That makes a lot of sense, Karen, and you'll be ready to go when the time is right. I was just going to say to you, podcast ladies, Tina, today, how aggravating it is to have written a book and then be like, okay, time for me to publish and sell my book. And you pull up how to sell a book, and it says 6 months before your book is ready, start doing X, Y, and Z. Have you had that experience?
Yes.
Yes, and it's like, well, nice for someone to tell me 6 months ago. So that's why we're here. We are 2 hosts out of 4 on the Christian Indie Writers podcast. Karen and anybody else who just happens to be stumbling across us, you should tune in Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern. We have a very active chat on Friday with lots of good information from those other writers there, and you can be ready to go when you're ready to launch your book. Okay, Tina, what were you saying now before I distracted you so wildly? I hope that you can remember. We were talking about, I don't remember what we were talking about.
I don't know.
Well, I know that we were talking about the bounce, and Rhonda says she understands now about the bounce back. She thought it was that your original email was bouncing over and over again.
Yeah, I just learned this, that there's a soft bounce and a hard bounce.
Why don't you explain what those are?
A soft bounce is when they can't deliver your email, but it's for a reason like their internet is down or their service provider is out or something like that. And a hard bounce is a just completely undeliverable email. It's the wrong email address or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So in MailChimp, now I don't know how it works in MailerLite, but in MailChimp, they automatically clean hard bounces from your subscriber list. And then the soft bounces, they'll clean after so many bounces.
Very nice. Yeah, I know I read something in MailerLite, but I'd have to look it up to know. So awesome. Well, I want to know, so Karen also, Rhonda also says that she's right there with Karen as far as starting a newsletter. So if you ladies just are curious, like what could you put in a newsletter? Well, that's what I wanted to tell you, Tina. Now that your newsletter is established, as you're writing your next book, you can do things like, character profiles or little outtakes or scenes that you wrote that are exciting to get people excited about the new book that's coming out. It's really interesting to think that you'll have this platform to promote to people who are already interested in your writing, and that's the beauty of a newsletter.
Right.
Oh,
I'm thinking about writing a bonus epilogue for my book.
Ooh.
And using that as a reader magnet to get people to sign up for my newsletter, but then also giving it to my newsletter subscribers.
Oh, okay. So then would you make Lost also would you swap what you're using as a reader magnet?
I haven't decided that yet. I might just leave it free. I mean, I think it has more value for me to get those readers that read it for free and leave me an honest review. Like that honest review to me is so much more valuable than the 40 cents or whatever it is that I might make off the sale of an ebook.
Yeah. So Karen and anyone else who's read Tina's book, if you could leave her an honest review, honest reviews lend legitimacy to an independent published author's work. So please and thank you. We appreciate any and all reviews.
Oh, I wanted to mention too, I started making some little ads. They're not really ads, but they're posts that I'm putting on Facebook and Twitter and on Instagram that say, get your free book. They're kind of an advertisement, but I'm not using Facebook ads, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
So I have those going through BookFunnel because So those people are getting their book from BookFunnel, and the people who go through my website and my newsletter are getting their books from Story Origin. That way I'm going to be able to see which ones are having more effect.
Wow. That's a really good idea. Rhonda says she approves of the extra epilogue, LOL. And Karen said she tried, but Amazon wouldn't let her yet. Oh, probably to get your book. Oh, leave a review.
I think you have to
leave
wait
a review.
for it to be live.
Yeah. Well, Karen, we really appreciate that. That's really very helpful to spread the word about Tina's book.
I'm also on Goodreads. You can look me up on Goodreads. I'll leave a review there if you want.
And she was tad disappointed at the end. She wanted more. That's always so nice to hear.
I'm working on that. The November.
November 14th also is your launch party. And you said you're going to have like a live stream during that?
Yes, part of it. It's like 12 to 4. I don't think I'm going to have content between 12 and 4 like the whole time. Mm-hmm. But I am going to go live between 3 and 4. And do some Q&A and little things like that.
I heard you found the best person ever to help you interview. Yes, it will be Tina and I again.
You really need a horn to toot when you say stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'm really excited because guess what? That means I'll be in Michigan. Woo! Although I don't know why I always go when it's nasty up there. Can I go in the beautiful summer or when it's like fall colors time? I don't know why I have to go when it's gross.
You're almost welcome.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I'll have you out at the camper.
Oh, no, not in November.
No, I meant in the summer.
Oh, yeah, super fun. I like swimming too in the lake. Okay, so I should probably talk about my newsletter. I don't have super a lot to report. I'm very excited though. So here's what's going on. I don't even know how to explain to everybody the randomness of the drama that happens when I'm trying to do stuff because I am a big picture person. I am not a detail-oriented person. This is why I can do content editing, but not proofreading. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you're dealing with this setting up a business kind of deal, you have to dot your I's and cross your T's. And I've just been having all kinds of fits with like I told y'all I was going to run away with the circus, right? So I'm getting there. But so because I am so freaked out, I have 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 drafts sitting in my mailer like folder that I obsessively edit and look at over and over and over. So my next goal is to get what I'm calling an extra edition, which is going to come out on October 26th. It has just a couple of little things in there, just a little taste. And then my first official newsletter will launch on the 9th. Why? Why are you doing something so weird? Well, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm clicking around. So I'm joining like promos and stuff or whatever, but I'm not really paying attention to like dates and when I'm promising to do what, because I have to click back and forth between screen, whatever. It's all just a lot of words to say. I didn't really want my first newsletter to go out on October 26th, but somehow I promised to be a part of a group promo on October 26th, so I had to put one together, and so it's not my first official one, and blah, 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 blah. Hold on. I spoke so much that I have to talk. You say something to cover me up.
Well, I was just going to say that all those little things that you have to do that you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, there's no handbook. At least not that I've come across.
No, there is no handbook, but there is the Christian Indie Writers Podcast.
That's right. And I had a little issue with getting my print book accepted by Amazon. It took me over a week. And they kept rejecting it, and I could not figure out why. And it turned out, and you know, if all you people out there that haven't hit publish yet, you might want to write this down, that if you are buying your own ISBN numbers, the company that sells those, Bowker, does not like abbreviations, and they do not like symbols. So when I put Menno Publishing Company as my imprint, and I put CO for company, they spelled it out, company, COMPANY, because they don't like abbreviations. And when I put it into Amazon, my imprint, I put Menno Publishing CO period company. And they weren't matching, so Amazon kept spitting it back out at me, and it took me an entire week to figure that out.
Well, I know I'm doing a lot of complaining and grousing about how hard all of this has been, but I have now learned so much, and all of that learning that I've done is now behind me. So now I am not an expert, but I'm very proficient with several programs that I never was before. Hooray, hooray. But I do have a newsletter that has to go out, and I kind of feel like I want it to be like a really good newsletter, and so I have imaginary anxiety. Like I have no reason to have anxiety, but I just do. It's really dumb.
I heard somebody say the other day that the perfect is the enemy of the done.
That's why, Tina, that's why people don't understand. That's why I had to publish Second Chance, because I knew that if I waited till I thought it was perfect, that I would be one of those people who just talked forever about publishing and never got around to doing it. Because I know that I can be perfectionism-y like that, you know? And I know some people were like, well, why would you publish? Just kind of, you know, I didn't do a big launch. I didn't, because I had to prove to myself that I was going to do it. You know what I mean? That it wasn't just, I'm going to say I'm going to publish a book and then I never do.
Yeah, I get it.
So anyway, here I am, and I'm going to hopefully be looking around because I'm in some writing groups, and I'm hopefully going to be extending some invitations to feature some other writers' little short stories that I've seen around on Facebook, because I figure if I've read some things that I really like that other people have done, and I figure if I tell them I'm going to feature them in my newsletter, there's a good chance they'll subscribe. Maybe they'll like what I write. So that's a strategy that I have going forward. You have to be careful. You don't want people to think you're a scammer. I mean, very clearly, I have nothing to offer you, person, except you can now say that you were in my newsletter. So if that's important enough to you to let me publish your thing in my newsletter, I very much appreciate you. You know what I mean? Because I've been a submitting writer. I have been. That's why I'm not going to put like submissions up or something like on my website, because I don't need people coming at me saying, don't you think my writing is worth money? Yes, I do think your writing is worth money. I'm just wondering if you want some free promotion. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. So
you don't have any money to give them, do you?
No, heck no. I don't have any money. If I don't want to be handing out money, if I'm spending money on anything, it's going to be covers and editing, which are the two places I recommend nobody skip. So I don't have much to report about mine, except if you have not signed up yet, writingshorts.net. Go there, because I am giving a free short story every time I send out newsletters. So my extra edition has a drabble, which is 100 words, never published before. And just for signing up to my newsletter, you get my ebook, And the Mom Ran Away with the Moon, for free, which is a very funny story. I just went into the sound booth. I recorded the audio. Soon I'll have audio available for that, although I don't know how I'm going to distribute it, if I'm going to charge for it. I don't know. I'm thinking about, I know Amazon does one or the other, where if you buy the book, they will package it with the audio or something, but I haven't really looked into marketing audio yet. So
in my experience, they usually ask you to pay a small $2.99 or something to add the audio to the book you just bought. Oh,
got it. I see. Well, I'm just very excited because my daughter, Riley, has volunteered to read my second freebie. Well, I'm not, that's the thing, Tina. I was going to change my reader magnet like once a month for 6 months and give away a different free book. But then I thought to myself, why not keep the same reader magnet, but just put my other books on sale for 99 cents because they're normally $2.99. So I have some strategizing, some of those kind of business decisions to make before I can really decide what direction my newsletter number 4, that is a rough draft. And the reason they're in there like that is because what I've done is I've kind of made a template where I'm going to put a banner ad in this spot every time, right? So I've got that already created. I'm just going to be looking for the promotions to tuck in there, because my plan is to systematize this bad boy. Oh, that's something I wanted to ask you. So you know how you're putting all of that from the Tabernacle stuff? Have you thought about archiving any of that information on a tab on your website to draw traffic over there? So like if you miss the newsletter, all of this stuff, or on an Instagram or something to be extra for people who love Angelica's story, who just want to be more immersed in it. It's a way to spread that manure around, how we talk about the cross promoting yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I've actually been trying to figure out how I could have my newsletter posted as a blog post on my website. So I found this plugin where you make up a fake email and you make it just a bunch of letters and numbers so you don't get any spam, and anything that you email to that email address would automatically be posted to your website. But it didn't work. So I don't know what I did wrong that it didn't work. So I've still got to play with that a little bit. I might have to call our friendly neighborhood tech person, Vicky, and ask her if she knows what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, I mean, there's a billion ways to do it. You could just even have it, that preview link for the page to show the newsletter. Maybe you could just have those on a page. So like you have a page and it just lists them by date, and then you click and it just takes you to where the link is.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of wanted it to look. Have you ever been on Scribed?
I have been on Scribed, yeah.
I kind of wanted it to look like that. I used to do newsletters for the campground during family camp, and I used to upload them as PDFs onto Scribed.
Oh.
And then they were just there, and so if somebody missed a day, they could go online and read the newsletter for that day. And it showed a picture of the PDF. Like it had, you couldn't read it; it was too small, but it was like a full picture of the newsletter. I kind of like that format, and so I was kind of trying to figure out how to copy that.
Well, I'm just going to ask because I wonder if anybody else would ask. So, do you see a potential for people not signing up for your newsletter if they can just go read it online?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm just asking because, like, that's why. Well, I'm not doing it because, like I said, I'm putting actual short stories where it's supposed to feel like it's exclusive. My readers are getting these stories. I'm not publishing them anywhere else, and whatever. Okay, and so I just wouldn't want for me to do that because then it's like, why would I go read Writing Shorts newsletter if all your content is on your website? And I want their email address. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you could password protect it and give the password every newsletter. Say, remember, the password is whatever. Don't share it. Because I was going to do that with Serial in the Suburbs. Every time I was going to post an installment, I would say, remember, the password is secret, so don't share it. And, of course, you don't 100% care if people share it. You just don't want them to run around willy-nilly passing it out. But it's an option.
But then having like a From the Bible and From Alaska page on my website is also another option.
There you go. And then you only put those parts, right? And you can...
And I could just put excerpts.
You could, yeah.
And then if they want to read the rest, then they click and it prompts them to sign up for the newsletter.
Another idea is every time you get an idea for one of these categories for your newsletter, instead of making a note to yourself, just go ahead and quickly write a blog post. Just 3 sentences. Alaskan sunsets are beautiful, like whatever you're going to write about. And then you've got it there. And then it's like a note for you to just transpose into your newsletter as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can maybe park a whole bunch of ideas there and then pull them to put into your newsletter. So
I have a template and I'm adding stuff in ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? Like I have drafts.
Oh, cool.
With just titles of what I want it to put, and then I just have to go fill in the content.
Yeah, that's really a very clever way to do it. That's really neat. I like that. I wonder if Rhonda's going to do segmented out like that, or if she's going to do more of just a stream of consciousness letter type of a newsletter like what Jen has. I'm doing cards. In the editor of Mailer, like they call them cards or what are they called in WordPress? Those blocks that you can edit. So I have blocks, and each of my blocks is different things. So it's like an article or a short story or whatever. And so each of mine is going to be kind of random. I don't have I'm leaving it flexible for right now until I find out what my stick around categories are, because that's just the way that I work better. I think I'm going to be really into X, Y, or Z, excuse me, and then I find out that all of that falls away and I'm really into A, B, and C. So
right. Mine is blocks too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Well, we're at about 40 minutes. Did you have anything else to share about your newsletter? Does anybody in the chat? We have an unpronounceable face asking us, "Hello, how are we? We are fine. We are well."
It doesn't have a name. It just has eyeballs on a frowny face.
I know. Is it?
Why are you sad?
I know. Is that sad that you're sad? So we appreciate you tuning in. Tina, why do you feel about newsletter chat? Are you good for this week, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've got some other stuff going on with my Amazon ad course that I just took. That's pretty exciting, but that's a different story. So tune into the podcast.
Yeah, this Friday at 10. Where can they find it? I'm sure they can go to our Facebook and watch it, or to our YouTube channel. And if you go to our ChristianDewriters.com page, you can sign up for the newsletter there. And you're going to want to do that. ChristianDewriters.net. Because our newsletter subscribers are going to hear how they can get an advanced copy of our podcast workbook, 30 Days to a Writing Sprint Habit. You will love it. It's going to be super awesome. So you need to be on the Christian D Podcast newsletter subscriber list. I write that newsletter. I have a lot of fun writing it. I'd love for you to see what's going on in my mind, although it's a little scary sometimes.
Well,
it's always about the topic of the week.
It's very appropriate that you're wearing that shirt.
Weird. Yes. I really like this shirt, but I was sad because it's really big. And, you always order big online because you're worried it's not going to have coverage or whatever. So I'm sad because it's so super big that it looks sloppy. I want it to shrink so bad. I like it so much, though, I almost got another one in a smaller size. I'm half tempted to just put it on the sewing machine and run a seam down both of the sides. Who even cares if it's like crooked?
Well, you could put a dart in the back. You could put 2 darts on the waistline area on the back, and they would do the same thing.
A dart?
Yes.
Do you think I'm fancy? What do you mean? Like a safety pin? Is that what a dart is?
It's a diamond shape thing that you fold the material along the edges of that diamond, and then you sew there, and then you cut that extra material off, and it like tapers it in.
Yes, that's what I want to do, but I just wanted to run my seam ripper right up the sides and just suck it in on the sides.
You could do that too.
Is that a bad idea? Oh, you can do that. I like the idea of the darts on the back, though, because then you can, like, bustle for yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
and some people put 2, and then they get one of those little elastic things like they make suspenders out of.
Cute.
And you can clip it down.
Mm-hmm. I love how that looks. I like the little bustle. What is... Rhonda says, I'm going to do it like I do the newsletter museum, different categories. Ooh, where's your newsletter for the museum? You should put the link for that one so people can get a look at what you're doing. And then Rhonda says that she did the same on her blog post titles. I don't understand that. Do you understand that?
Yeah, remember I said I put in placeholders, like what I wanted to talk about in a draft, and then when I'm ready for that week, then I already have what I'm supposed to be saying in there.
It must be nice to have no anxiety about sending out your newsletter. What is that? I should not have any anxiety at all. Like, I would tell my husband, I have a plan. I just work my little plan, one foot in front of the other. I don't know why I have to feel like I'm in such an all-fire hurry all the time. I know you can never guess it because I sit down here. I've been going since 4:30, so I'm kind of wiped out. But I just, like, way too much anxiety about all this stuff. I'm, like, super weird right now. Super weird. Okay.
I know this last newsletter I sent out, I proofread it, and I stuck it through Pro Writing Aid, and I stuck it through, I don't know, Word, and there was still an error that I found after I sent it out.
I've got to say, my reader magnet, I went in the studio, like I told you, and I read it, audio, and I found things I wanted to fix. So I did. But it was like 2 years later and, 25 free copies going out to people with the errors that I don't like in there. Yikes. But I didn't find them super egregious, but it's really discouraging to find those. At least I found them, though. Hooray, hooray.
Well, and I've read professional authors traditionally published books and found errors in them. So I think there's a certain amount of grace that readers give the authors.
I hope so. But I just did want to say, yay! I tripled my subscribers. Now, I only have 33 subscribers, but that is indeed 3 times 11. And I only had 11 before. And I haven't had any of those promo things happen yet. That's just me saying, hey, everybody, would you please be nice and join my newsletter? And people have run right over there lickety split to get it. So I've been very, very thankful for that and blessed. And so now I'm excited to see how it works to be in some of these cross promotions, because some of these people have a big list with a big open rate. And I'm hoping to get my eyeballs in front of some readers who might not have ever known that I existed before.
Right.
So
and we're in different genres, but we could do a newsletter swap.
Oh, yeah, we absolutely could. We should do that. All right, let's talk. All I have to do is put like a link.
Yeah, and a picture of the book and a link and maybe the blurb.
Well, let's talk about when we want to do that, because do you want me to do it? Do you care when? Like, do you want me to wait until you have your epilogue ready? Like what? Let's talk. Unless you already know what you want.
Obviously, I want to wait until after my book's published. But I think it would be nice to do it before Christmas.
Oh.
Because, I think your book would make a great Christmas present.
Oh, you're so sweet.
There's a bunch of little short stories, and you can even read them around the fire on Christmas night.
You're so sweet, Tina.
I love reading, to my grandma, to my granddaughter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's a cutie.
My daughter just bought this book, How to Babysit a Grandma, and it's so funny.
Is it like feed her milk and cookies or what?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
How old is she now?
She is 3.5.
She's really a cute kid.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, how about in the chat? Are there any more questions before we sign off from newsletter chat? Last chance for you guys to speak up there. And Tina, why don't you one more time give yourself a little plug? Where can people find your newsletter?
ChristinaCatane.com. That's ChristianaCattane.com. And that will send you over to Story Origin, where you can sign up again for my ARC team. And then all I ask is that you give me an honest review.
And what do you mean by ARC team?
Advanced Reader Copy is what ARC stands for. So you get the copy in advance of publication.
Awesome. So you're not editing, you're not expected to do any of that hard stuff. You just want them to give you an honest review in exchange for a copy of your awesome book. And now Tina hasn't said, but you guys, this is a story about a community that does not have the New Testament. Can you imagine living under the Old Testament law and what a struggle that would be? And that's Angelica's reality. You guys should really check out Tina's book.
I got one.
It's right there. It's so beautiful. You made that cover yourself, right?
Yes, I did. I made this myself on Photoshop. And I used Stuart Baish's advice, who is a professional cover designer. He offered a course that I bought. He designs books for people like Stephen King and the Tolkien Estate and people like that. So that was really money well spent.
Well, that's awesome. All right. Well, I don't see anybody asking us anything else in the chat. So I think that maybe we're going to call
Mysterious Frowny Man never said anything else. So
No, he didn't.
For a minute, I thought that was our jingle writer, but...
Oh, Eduardo.
But he has a name, so...
Yeah, we haven't seen him the last couple of newsletter chats.
I think he was there last time. I think I remember seeing him.
Oh, maybe.
Should I play the jingle again before we go out?
Yeah, one more time.
Okay, see you guys later.
It's time for newsletter chat, where Jen and Jamie chat about newsletters. Newsletter chat with Jamie and Jen.
And Tina.
Bye.
Bye, guys.